This conference will now be recorded.
Recorder up and running. So good morning. Today is September 13th. Some decent things going on out there. A little bit slow, but we have our last day of classes for this week coming up this morning at 10 a.m. and then this afternoon at 3 p.m. Some pretty good topics that we're going to be going over today. So make sure if I think actually I already sent the link out for that. So everyone should already have the link, and I'll see everyone there after our meeting. Now, coming into this morning, Facebook, speaking of classes, I mean, it's just clockwork. It really, once you get what you need to understand from these prints, I mean, it just makes life so much easier. We knew where Facebook had to go, and then coming into this morning, some, not great volume that brought it back down, but, nice trigger that came in, and, overall, a dollar move coming into the pre-market. And overall at 162, we didn't really get too many great prints, and I really would have liked to see more, but the move towards this downside, I'm still expecting more of it, and it's based off of how many prints that we got at 162.50, how much selling we saw coming in there. I would expect them to be trying to make more than a dollar with that. So far, I mean, not, like I said, just not great prints at 162, but overall, we knew where it was going. We have our move down, and it's something we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Next one looking at this morning is Twitter, and I like Twitter better than Facebook, and the only reason is if we come back over here and we look at this morning, it just gave a better show of hand. And that's not that I like it better than Facebook, because I still think Facebook has a whole bunch more room that it needs to go to satisfy the money that needs to be made from those prints at 162.50. But coming over to 30 here, I mean, it's just beautiful prints. Well, it's pretty black and white what it's looking to do. Okay, earlier in the morning, 820, beautiful selling coming into 30, beautiful selling coming in underneath it. And when there's pretty much only selling, the stock ends up coming down. So I'm going to be watching Twitter very closely as well this morning, because it's already given us a pretty decent show of hands so far. Next one looking at is KR. Oops, sorry, 1 second. Sorry about this. 1 second. All right, so coming into KR, one thing that I would really like to see is coming in at this print line at the 50,000 shares. We've seen some decent selling, just not great selling at 29. We did get some below the bid prints that we came in, and then coming over, we have on the a few actual bid prints that came in at that 29 level as well. And coming, it's just as we've been sitting in this consolidation, if we look, most of what we've seen this coming in this morning has been selling. I don't know what happened, but we've seen it, it took a pretty decent hit this morning, 32 down to 28.50, which is, a pretty big move considering it usually only trades about 67 cents. And once again, as it's been coming down to these lower prices, we're still seeing more selling coming in. So another one, very interesting to watch. I would have loved to see a little bit better, the prints be a little bit better at that 29. But if we look, we did mostly get selling. It's just this burst right here on the below the bid. I just wish it would have been bid, because it would have given us a way higher percentage than the few prints that we actually did get on the bid. And then NIO. Coming in, we have some beautiful volume this morning. And my one thing that I'm just, a little bit worried about is a lot of times when we get these cheaper stocks and they start to make these push moves early in the morning and in the pre-market, we end up seeing them kind of fizzle out by the time that the market comes in open. We don't really see them, can really do anything afterwards. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, but it is on my side list because it just hasn't shown me enough yet. You could see, especially coming into that 675, definitely great new buying that came into there. And then as we're coming in, the selling, I'm not as worried about, because remember, we're going to be expecting selling on a stock that, that's jumped up a pretty decent amount from this morning after coming up from that 635. It's just, like I said, I'm not sold on it. 1.9 million shares. It's just a little bit odd. Just not really a ton that's going on yet that really sells me. So I'll be watching, but is there a difference between NIO ADR and NIO HB? Well, NIO HB is hard to borrow, which means that your short shares aren't available without ever requesting them. NIO, I don't have, do I see NIO? I don't see NIO ADR. Where do you see that, Derek? Is what pops up on your trading system. I'm not sure. I don't see ADR anywhere. I'd have to see where and kind of in reference to it, but maybe it's the same thing. I have no idea. But HB just means hard to borrow. All right, and other than that, not seeing a ton else out there. Let's see, IQ. I saw IQ on the list this morning, and it just hasn't done anything. I mean, yeah, it's up a little bit, and it's on the gainers side of the list. I mean, if we go right over here, when I was looking at the gainers this morning, it's right there, right here. But so far, you got to say, just looking at it, I mean, there's 29.50. We don't really have any ask prints. I mean, there's a few that came in at 7:30 this morning, but there's not really anything that's too great that I'm seeing there. It's definitely worth taking a look at. It does move, a bunch each morning. It moves about 235. So I'll put it on our list. It's just I want to see more. I need to see more prints and more controlling prints, which we should get. Being up and having 291,000 shares already, we should definitely get. SWK, let's take a look. SWK has not traded one share this morning, so there's nothing there that I see that I can give any type of anything on. And then PDD. Let's see, PDD. Okay, so PDD is looking a little bit better this morning. When I was looking at it before, it was right before we started meeting. It's just kind of in a quantity, just trading like absolute garbage. It actually just did make a pretty decent move. And overall, excuse me, it does look like we're getting more buying than anything else. It's on the bottom. PDD is going to be on the very bottom of my list. I don't really see too much there that I'm going to probably even pay any attention to this morning, especially because we have class at 10. But just not really, just a little iffy there. And then IFF. Yeah, IFF isn't too bad at all. $134. We did have some, decent buying coming in at that 135 level. Here, not a great show of hand considering the fact that it looks like it's jumping up from selling prints from this morning, but definitely some decent prints there on the S side of things at 135. So pulling back a whole bunch and then moving up. Yeah, I like it. IFF, I like a lot. All right, so overall, we have a pretty big list compared to what we typically do. Probably by far my favorite show of hand that I see so far is we just know how Twitter trades, and we have that 30 that's sitting there, so I really do like that. BAC, I pretty much never ever will trade. Just trades way too much volume, and it just doesn't have enough move. On average, it moves about 45 cents. Just nothing really there for me that I would ever care about trading, especially coming into the morning when we just have such better things for us to look at range-wise. Another thing you might want to take a look at is TLRY. This thing is just a monster. Another big morning coming up all the way up to 115. This thing just does not stop. So I know that would be on my list, but I would certainly keep my eyes on that one as well. All right, guys, so let's get ready for our morning. I'll post the list in the Veterans Traders, Veteran Trader channel, and I will talk to everyone in the chat and then everyone at class at 10. Happy trading.